Hey everyone, Scott Jansen here. In this video, let's go back to basics because I get this question a lot, which is how does conversational hypnosis really work? So I'll give you my ideas, give you my thoughts and insights to help you get a better understanding and a better grasp of conversational hypnosis. Whether you're a seasoned therapist, you've just started conversational hypnosis, let's define what all this means. So firstly, it's important to understand there are two types of conversational hypnosis. Okay, and I truly believe this, and I'm pointing this out what these are. You've got hypnosis-based conversational hypnosis, and you've got therapeutic-based conversational hypnosis. If you've followed my videos for some times, you know we're going to talk about the therapy-based, as is the only one that matters. Do not combine both of these types together because you'll miss the opportunity for real therapy. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Hypnosis-based conversation hypnosis is the language patterns, it's the embedded commands, it's the suggestibility test, it's telling a client to go deeper, it's having them experience a deep trance, it's all of those things, but nothing to do with therapy. Now, if you're new to all of this next idea may not make sense, but putting a client into trance does not mean they can get therapy. Hypnosis should become a byproduct of doing hypnosis. Okay, of doing therapy. So the example of this is you've got a hypnotist trying to force someone into hypnosis, then giving them commands and language patterns like you're a non-smoker now, something like that, compared to therapy-based conversation hypnosis, which is actually doing the therapy, not worrying about the hypnosis, but the art of doing good therapy creates hypnosis. One is forced, one is organic. The organic one obviously being the more powerful one. Okay, so there's two types, hypnosis-based conversational hypnosis and therapeutic-based conversation hypnosis. Don't combine both, guys. You're either one or the other. Combining both, it just becomes ludicrous and you miss the opportunity for real therapy. Okay, so let's look at more in depth in this language patterns versus what we call process instructions. Hypnosis would have you tell a client they are a non-smoker, if they're a smoking client, of course. So if I've got a client in front of me, I'll put them into hypnosis, however I do that. Could be walking downstairs, going deeper, could be an instant induction, whatever it is. And then I'm saying instructions like, you are a non-smoker. Every time you think of a cigarette, you'll instantly feel ill and never want to smoke again. You're breathing better now. Your mind is letting go of everything related to smoking. You can see how hard for this is for me to make this stuff up because I've never used this stuff and it sounds stupid just saying this stuff. Why? If you've been a therapist long enough and you've actually been taught this, even if you're a basic hypnotist at the time, hypnosis would have you tell a client they're a non-smoker, but we know this to be a symptom. And guys, here's the kicker. If you're talking about smoking with a smoking client, you are spinning around the symptom. You are not healing them. It's the same with anxiety. If you're healing an anxiety client, why are you talking about anxiety? That is the symptom. It's not the root cause. Doesn't matter what the problem is. We know this is all symptoms. But if I'm using language patterns, which are traditionally taught, you can even download this stuff online that says these are the suggestions, especially like hypnosis script. These are the suggestions to tell a smoker. You can't have, I know the client's problem exists in the unconscious mind, but here's a stop smoking script. Those two things, defeat each other. Okay, it doesn't work like that. All right. So hypnosis would tell you to tell a client if they're non-smoker, if they're a smoking client, but we know this to be a symptom. If you're talking about smoking with a smoking client, you're spinning around the symptom. Thus, you're not getting anything out of it. That's why you can't combine hypnosis-based and therapeutic-based. We use something called process instructions. We utilize the knots, which are the things that your clients, the symptoms that they have, but also what we call the root cause or unconscious payoff, unconscious moments, and processing a client experiences during the therapy. Thus, we use a common one like things like saying that's right, which is very Ericksonian, or more of that if you've done my ACH training, you've heard me use that a lot, to enhance the thing they're experiencing. This does not require language patterns, not forced or made up. Okay, so what I mean by this, language patterns, you tell a client they're a non-smoker, you might say that 50 times and they're supposed to be a non-smoker. Instead, we use therapy to investigate the real root cause, and whatever comes up from that, we utilize it, but I don't need to sound stupid by using language patterns. Okay, now again, this is just a very bird's eye view of this, guys. You have to learn how to do this. Okay, and we have our ACH training coming up in July. You guys are welcome to check out the link below. All those details are there. But this is the difference. In therapy, I don't need to use language patterns. In hypnosis, I do. Okay, but hypnosis does not mean therapy. Therapy means hypnosis over time. Okay, so one, you can't combine the both. Okay, so we're going to utilize what a client gives us instead of forcing it with language patterns. Telling versus utilizing. Telling a client they are now going deeper or they can see a scene from the past is very hypnosis-based conversation hypnosis. And the reason I have conversation hypnosis is because you do it conversationally. It's supposed to fit inside of a conversation. but it defeats purpose because it sounds ridiculous. Clients know what you're doing when you're trying to combine this stuff. So telling a client they're now going deeper, supposed to put them into a deeper trance, or they can see a scene from their past. But that's all it is. You're just telling. You're forcing. That's what hypnosis based is. Okay. Therapeutic based, like I mentioned before, utilizes and uses what a client is experiencing at any given time through this interaction and enhances that with the above. We call this process instructions. So instead of forcing a client with hypnosis based, like you are doing this, you are going to trance, you are now a non-smoker, we take the back seat. We use proper investigation skills to find the root cause, which all therapists need to learn how to do. And we utilize what a client comes up with. We enhance those things through process instructions. And it doesn't require me to even do a lot of work to do that, but I don't have to sound like a hypnotist. I don't have to drill the language patterns. I don't have to drill the embedded commands. I don't have to sneakily put in an embedded command at the end of every sentence. Why? Because clients pick up on this, and it's a hell of a lot of work for therapists to do. So we have the use of unconscious moments, revealing knots, enhancing processing, processing chat, untying knots, using clashing realities, etc., etc. Big picture thinking. These are all therapeutic process, make up therapeutic conversational hypnosis. Okay. Now I'm going to apologize here because I think I made this confusing for people. We use advanced conversation hypnosis, but that's just purely for marketing. Okay. But really what it is advanced conversational therapy. Okay, we just use the hypnosis because it's good for our marketing. And it has realms inside of what real hypnosis is if you want to look at it therapeutically. But as I was saying, guys, there are two types. You've got to decide which one do you want to learn and which one do you want to do. You can't combine both. If you're doing therapy with clients, it doesn't require you to do language patterns. It doesn't require embedded commands because you won't know what language patterns to use or what embedded commands to use because it's going to be too late because your client's already going to be experiencing the healing through the therapy. Okay. And, heaven forbid, you've got therapists that sit there and drill the language patterns, the language pattern cards, and they learn to sound like a hypnotist. And all they're doing, which is fine if that's what you want to do, is just learn the hypnosis part. But very few can actually do the therapy. That's what we focus on. Okay. So, guys, that's a quick example of therapy-based conversation hypnosis. Hope that makes sense. If you want to see what that looks like in action, just go through all of our YouTube videos. We've got tons. We've got well over 1,500 videos talking about this, full demonstration. Some of our videos go for 3 hours. We give you footage from our courses. We show you proper breakthroughs. I do conversation hypnosis breakthroughs and breakdowns of actual therapy demos that we've done, just inside of our course. You can see all of those things. Just watch all those videos, give you a better understanding of what I mean by therapy-based conversation hypnosis. All right, guys, hopefully that was informative. See you in the next video. Bye for now.